Hi everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm the TowerlightVideo producer, and I'm going to be bringing you this new series I like to call SNL Update. I've always been really interested in comedy, and me and my roommates always watch SNL every single weekend, and I know a lot of people like to go and catch up on them, see who's singing, who's being the host. It's always a lot of fun, so I decided I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay, so this week it was Blake Shelton, who is not a host that SNL sees often. He's a country singer. I can't remember the last time a country singer has hosted SNL. So we were up for a great show. The opening was the Patriots press conference, which was on Deflategate, which I don't even know why Deflategate is a thing, personally. I think there's much bigger stuff to worry about, but Americans love their football. And so basically they had like Tom Brady come on, and Tom Brady was really dumb. He's like, I have no idea what happened. And then we had Bobby Moynihan come on as like the person who helps Peyton all the time. And he was like, oh, I do whatever I'm told. And it was just weird, and I just don't know why it's a thing. So, and then we had Blake's opening monologue. He did sing, but it was like this, he was like, oh, I remember comedy when I was young, and he got all the SNL cast members on, and he was like, okay, we're going to do some nice old-fashioned comedy, and of course, they were like, no, they were doing Yo Mama jokes, and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, no, that's not what comedy used to be. And I thought it said a lot about how comedy is now and how it was, which is something a lot of people who have watched SNL in the old days are like, oh, it's not funny anymore, when it's getting better. It's getting better, I think. The next sketch was the Farm Hunk, which was basically a country version of The Bachelor. There was, oh goodness, there was a lot of racist jokes in there, because like the first thing came on, it's like, okay, the two black people are gonna leave, and I'm like, okay, and basically all the girls were like he was like, oh, you have to move to Idaho, there's nothing there, and the girls were like, all right, because he's pretty. So, woman, racism. The one thing about this sketch is that I always wonder is that A.D. Bryant always comes on, and she always does, the awkward cast member. She's always like crying, or socially awkward person. I don't know why she can't be pretty and sexy too. I love her. I think she did that in the country song that they sang, the Wishing Boot, and I just don't get why she can't be like that all the time. So that's just personally. And then at the end, Leslie came on, and Leslie makes every sketch better. She just speaks the truth. I love her. I love her so much. Yeah, and then, as I said, the next one was the Wishing Boot, which is basically like Lonely Island does country. And this kind of shows you, like, SNL hasn't done this kind of stuff in a while. Since I can remember. I still think that the best line off of that was at the very end when they're saying we're going to make so much effing money off of this. That was the best part of it, I think, but it was cute. It was cute. Next was Family Feud, and SNL's Family Feuds are always really, really good. So I was really excited. I always love Kenan Thompson's Steve Harvey. It's always really funny. I think he should take over Steve Harvey's job, but that's just me personally. I thought I was kind of iffy on Taran Killam's Adam Levine. He's had some really good moments while doing these impressions. That was not one of them, but Jay Pharoah and Kate McKinnon's were so good. Jay Pharoah and Kate McKinnon's are always the best. They're just the best impersonators on the cast right now, and I could see them do anything. I liked Kyle Mooney's Steven Tyler. It was a little off because Kyle Mooney he's one of those guys that can't really play other characters besides himself because he's just very identifiable. So, but I thought it was cute. He was like a little Steven Tyler. And the Family Feud made good setup for a lot of the jokes that people were waiting for this night. You know, like the Miranda Lambert joke he made, and the Adam Levine bromance that they have on The Voice. I don't personally watch The Voice, but I hear about it. It's on Tumblr. Then we had Blake's first performance. I didn't know the song. But again, it's kind of like we were expecting, kind of zoned out a little. Then we have Weekend Update, where they talked about, you know, Deflategate. They talked about the State of the Union address. Then Bobby Moynihan came on as Riblet, as Michael Che's old friend from high school, and Bobby Moynihan just has the best Weekend Update characters. He's like honorary Weekend Update. I always love his drunk uncle. He comes on, he does the person that goes, like, the secondary news. He always has the best characters. And the part that really made it was the mic drop at the end. And then Pete came on, and he did this whole thing about, it was supposed to be about passwords, but he made it about how he was looking up gay porn because he was very high, and then his girlfriend found out, so he needed to have a password. I just love him because he's definitely a character. He's really young. He's a really young cast member, and so he definitely appeals to, like, the college kids. And so I really love him. He speaks from the heart. I love him. The next skit was the Texas Man Eater, which was basically just Keenan being Keenan. It's just what he does. He was talking about, it was this man that the people were deciding whether or not he should be electrocuted or not, and he thought that he was going to be free, and he was this person that kept eating people, which when you describe it sounds very, very odd. But that's what it was. Very, very odd. Always around after Weekend Update, the skits start to get a little funky. The next one was the Topeka Today show, and where Blake Shelton sang My Darling Joanne, which was more musical comedy for the singer who was hosting. And it was kind of funny. It was one of those where you're like waiting for the left turn to come. You're just waiting, and oh, there it is. Then Blake's second performance, which was The Boys Round Here, which I knew that song. I'm not completely against country. I like country. I just don't hear about it much. So, but I like that song. It was more energetic, and I always like when the musical guest does something upbeat for their second performance, because when they do something slow, everyone goes to bed, and you lose viewers. The last sketch was the Make Me Rich, which was, the comedy of it was definitely a little retro. It was not today, but it was funny. It was cute. It was a magic show, and Blake was, like, amazed by the magic performance, and so he went on, and he kept trying to tell the magician, like, give me powers, make me rich, give me chicken nuggets, make me have the ability to go down on myself. And so it was odd, but it was cute. I thought it's better than a lot of the other ending things. That's what happened this week with Blake Shelton hosting. I thought it was pretty good for him. He's a very funny guy. He's not a comedy guy, obviously. He's a singer. But I thought he did a pretty good job as a host. So things have been getting better on SNL. Gradually. I'll keep watching every single week. Hopefully you guys will too. It's always a lot of fun to watch with other people and then kind of talk about what's been happening. So tune in here next week, where there's a new SNL on next week, and I will be covering it after that. Okay? Bye, guys.